With the example WebdriverIO script under our belts, let's dive into creating something of our own. To recap from the first video in our lesson, our test will load the URL, log the page title, click the Shop button, then log the title and URL of the new page. We can copy over all of the code from our example test into a new file called shopbutton.js. Our test is fairly similar to the example we just went through, so it's a good starting point for our needs. We'll leave the top as is, as those defaults work well for us. The first item we'll change is the URL. Instead of going to DuckDuckGo, let's go to the URL of our local server. Next, we can get rid of setValue, as we won't be filling out a form. Instead, we'll add a getTitle call to log the initial page title. We'll then use the then function to accept the title back from the getTitle command. With it, we'll log it out using console.log. Once logged, we click the Shop button. There are many ways to select this button for clicking. We're going to use a descendant class selector, but you could replace this with an XPath or text-based selector if you prefer. We'll get into advanced selectors in a later lesson. After the Shop button is clicked, the page should reload. We'll verify this by logging the title and URL. Both commands are followed by then functions, which accept and log the results. Finally, we'll leave the end command as is, as we want to close our browser when we're done. Let's save our file and run the test. Because we're running this all locally, the test runs very fast. You may not even see the browser window pop up on your screen. This is why the console output is so useful. As you see here, it's logged out the expected page titles and URL. This tells us that the Shop button is working correctly and that we have our first useful automated test. That concludes the first module. We've installed WebdriverIO, set up a local Selenium server, and written our own test. I mentioned in the first video that there are two ways to run WebdriverIO. We've been looking at using standalone mode, which is decent for basic examples. But if you really want to take advantage of what WebdriverIO offers, you have to check out the test runner. It allows us to store all of our configuration information in a single file, comes with a bunch of integrations and services, and features sync mode, which gets rid of those repetitive then statements. We'll cover all of that in the next module.